Episode 19. I repeat, episode 19 of the Robby Framework Show.
We're really sure it's
We're
19.
really sure we double, triple check before going live here. So thanks everybody for joining. For those of you who are new to the live stream, we usually start with talking about our project, giving updates, and then we move on to interesting articles that we found on the web during the week, and then we open it up for Q&A. So if you have any questions, get them queued up, get them ready, and we'll answer them pretty shortly here. So Lee, I'll let you take it away with the updates for the project.
This weekend, ORD, Our Robot Dreams.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. We're in the middle of a big pivot, our message pivot here, where we're kind of shifting how we describe the product to people. That's included a major facelift on the website, which we're doing A and B testing with right now. Going really well, actually. It looks like our changed website might actually be better than the old website. Imagine that. So that's big. Also, we've been working on our videos. We just did our fourth in this kind of new series of videos that we're working on. Had been doing really well, getting nice traction, and now they've seemed to have stalled for the moment. So you guys need to go out there and join our channel and watch all our videos.
Yeah.
So we can get more views.
Yes, and drop a like.
That's right. A like or two would be nice, and subscribe, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that probably has been the biggest thing this week, right? Just work on the site, hooking things up, doing experiments, A/B tests on landing pages, things like that.
Yep.
What
Hey, Julian.
else?
Good to hear. Glad you're here.
Hey, Julian,
Yeah.
how you doing?
Well,
Thanks.
yeah. This message change we're doing, the pivot. It's requiring redoing everything. We're redoing our pitch decks, our product deck. We're redoing our financial projections because our business model is changing substantially. So it's significant for us. Hopefully it's significant. Hopefully it'll make things significantly better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So Julian says, excellent content. Is he talking about our content? Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Julian,
Thanks, Julian.
have you watched the any of the videos on the channel?
Yeah, if you go to the website, it's a 50-50 shot whether you'll see the new website or not since we're doing the A/B experiment. You may see the old page.
Yeah. Yeah, so the way it works is that it's doing a 50-50, right? So
Yeah.
each visit will get a different version of the homepage.
But the new one's a lot better. If I
I
do
agree.
say.
I agree with that. I don't have any questions yet from the chat. There was one, and this is from Instagram. Just double checking. Yeah, I don't see any. So if you want to share your article, Lee, or any news that you found during the week.
Yeah. Can I share here? Let's see here.
Yeah.
Share my screen. Let's see if this works. Do I get that tunnel thing will happen? Oh, entire screen. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
Yep, I see us right now.
Well, that's good, I guess. And sorry about that. Sorry for the visual. Um, anyway, this video on, I think, NBC News. So in LA, one of those food delivery robots, the ice chest with wheels, came to a crime scene. And it's kind of interesting what it did. So let's go going here. Oh, well, I didn't get rid of the ad. Here we go. Oh, I didn't know it came up on Colbert. Wow.
Was it there? I think you might have fast forward the video, Lee.
Oh, it's not. You're right. It's not the right video anymore. Well, hang on here. I was thinking, man, that doesn't. And it was weird because it was on it just a second ago. But here we go.
Yeah, I think when you meant to press play, you skip to the next video.
Ah, well, that sounds like something I do. Here we go. Oh, go away. We don't need your paywall. So here's the little robot, and he's come up to a crime scene. And this raised some interesting questions to me as you watch what it does. I'm wondering if it's really a guy doing this is really about remote control and there's a guy driving this. Or how autonomous is that little thing? You can see he stops and he's checking things out and he's wondering what's going on because he's got this coming up. And I love the way the cops react to it. That's like, what in the world is going on there? Do we need to get upset about this? And the robot with his wheels turning different directions, going, if it's a guy driving it, he's like, okay, what do I do now? And this cop here that walks up, he walks up and looks at it, and it's like, okay, I guess I'll just act like nothing's happening. And the robot traipses straight into the crime scene.
Wow.
And the cops completely ignore it, Thank goodness the criminal wasn't hiding in the ice chest.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was kind of a fun one. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So then, like you said, it's kind of makes you think about things, right? It's like, what? So I guess you disguise yourself as a robot and
well, yeah, or it could have had a bomb in it, or my goodness. It was just, what was interesting to me about it was the cops that just seemed like they had no idea of what to do about that, and ended up punting and not doing anything, just ignoring it and acting like it wasn't even happening.
Yeah, but what would you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Wheels in the air, robot.
Yeah, I think what probably needs to happen is that all these companies need to come up with a standard to sort of have off limit zones that come up, right, that are dynamic, and obviously government agencies need to work with them as well to do the same thing, especially like we were talking about earlier, Lee, about those taxis, right? If something like that happens where a street is closed off, these robots are not going to have any idea that's happening. So yeah, I think something's gonna have to happen there to avoid situations like this.
Well, we're going headlong into this revolution, and it is a revolution. Automated cars, all of these things. Yeah, you can do them, but boy, does it raise a lot of questions. I mean, the one big one that always occurs to me, and it does to a lot of people, it's not just me, but with automated cars, how does insurance work? If two automated cars get into a wreck, whose fault is it? You sue the programmer?
Yeah.
It's who knows, and there's a lot of that stuff is going to happen. You don't have 200 million cars on the road without some wrecks. I don't care how good the software is. You are going to have wrecks, and how's
Yeah.
that going to work? And there's just thousands of questions like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that insurance companies are going to get their money somehow. They're not,
Oh
you know,
yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah,
it's
people will figure something out, no question, and we'll probably get screwed by it
yeah,
one way or another.
that is truly. Yeah, imagine if yeah, two automated cars get into an accident, and I guess if they're from the same company, right? That I guess they'll deal with it as long as no there was no property damage or no one else got hurt. I guess that could be dealt in house. But if there's two different companies, transportation companies, I wonder what happens, right? It's like, whose mistake was it? Are they gonna go through
Yeah,
the code? Gonna go through the code and see who messed up?
that's right. Yeah. Okay, let's dig out the C++, boys, and see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
But it's happening right now with I don't know if you heard, but today some there's a class action suit going against Tesla about the autopilot because people have been dying. People are dying, of wrecks that they had because of trusting that autopilot.
Yeah.
Is it Tesla's fault? Tesla says you got to hold on to the steering wheel and still actively be driving. But, when the car drives itself, it's going to be hard to maintain that at some point, I would think. If you're on a long trip, at some point, you're going to let go and just sit there.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting questions to be answered.
Yeah. So Michael, he says that he has a YouTube ban this week, so that's why he's not joining us. I'm guessing.
A YouTube ban. Okay.
But he's saying a robot may not injure a human being
Yeah.
through inaction.
Do you know what that is?
The first law.
The first law, the first of the three.
Yeah.
I could recite them all, but I'm not sure you want me to. But yes, a robot may not harm a human being, nor through an action allow a human being to come to harm.
Yeah. And here's a good question by Julian. I didn't even know there was an HTML6 in the
There's an
works.
HTML6? Ah, crap.
What do you know about it, Julian? Well, then I have to look that up now.
Yeah, yeah. The next new thing we got to go learn.
Yeah, but if there was not much from five to, I mean, excuse me, from 4 to 5. Do you recall? I know that Canvas was probably the biggest difference.
I barely got involved in five because you know me in that last job we were at, where I was at for 6 years, I was almost all either back end or managing there. So I didn't get to go really get my hands dirty in the front end much.
I see.
So I know it exists. That's about it.
Yeah,
But I am curious about it.
yeah, me too.
I mean, how much farther are they going to take the thing?
Let's see. So HTML5 came out in 2014. Wow,
Okay.
it's been that long.
Yeah, wow. I didn't realize. I would have guessed like 17 or 18, but obviously I would have been wrong. Anything interesting about HTML6 that you can see?
Something about native models. I guess we have to read
Native
about
modal.
these a little more, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I'm feeling very ignorant suddenly.
authentication enhancement, customized menus in HTML6, integrated camera. All
Ah,
right, that's so. I think
that
there
could be
it's
cool.
so. I think it's sort of like a deeper integration with mobile devices. Seems like,
Oh, okay.
and I wonder if there's a new version of JavaScript they're going to be supporting. Probably not. I think ECMA 6 is still the one that's
Yeah.
widely used right now.
Yeah, and that hasn't been around that long and was a big complicated one when it came out.
Yeah.
So let's see, I've got another article thing here that was kind
Okay.
of interesting to me, something that's kind of close to my heart or something I think about every once in a while. So are you familiar with the whole thing about space junk?
No.
With that space junk is becoming more and more of an issue because there's too many things up
So
there orbiting.
so meaning like satellites that have been decommissioned and they stay in orbit.
It can be that, and it can be everything down to like a bolt. Because even a bolt up there, keep in mind that everything up there is moving thousands of miles per hour. So if the wrong things collide, it's bad.
Oh yeah.
You have a bolt coming at you at 10,000 miles per hour, and it's going to do serious damage to anything it comes close to or touches anyway.
Yeah.
And there's just thousands of pieces of it. And one of the big, there was I think it was a Nova, the Nova TV show. I think there was a show about this a long time ago. But, they've raised it with the space station. So if anything was ever to hit the space station and cause it to really disintegrate, it would probably end space travel
Oh
because
wow.
so many little tiny pieces would be going around up there that there would be no way you could clean it up. And they would all be so bloody dangerous that you just couldn't go up there anymore. Which imagine that. What do you do then? So, anyway, this article I read, there's a company or a bill about to come out in Congress that they're going to put together a bill to team up between the government and space companies to get the first 900,000 pieces of space junk out of the sky and go
That's a
from there.
very precise number.
Well, it's just what they said. I thought it was kind of interesting too, because there's millions of these things, and
Yeah.
almost all of them are tracked. They have to track them.
Oh wow.
On the space station, they know when stuff's coming at them, and they get freaked out about it. You don't hear about it much, but it's a thing.
Oh. Okay.
And there's
Oh
so much room up there, and it's so much space that you don't think about it. But even with a lot of it up there, there's still it's not that likely you're going to get hit yet. But it's a thing when anything comes close to the space station. It's a big deal, or to anything that's up there.
wow.
Yeah, it's one people don't think about much, but it's kind of an interesting thing because
So wouldn't is it possible that this stuff takes out satellites? I mean, has it happened? I'm pretty sure it's
yeah,
happened, right?
I believe it has. Yeah,
Wow.
and it crashes every once in a while. Satellites crash and stuff, and that's with the big stuff. For the most part, eventually its orbit will decay and it'll come down, which can be bad also, depending on where it
Yeah.
comes down, because that's pretty much random where it'll come down.
Yeah.
But it's the little stuff that stays up there with on its momentum for years and years and years. And it's just like these missiles flying around up there, more and more of them all the time.
Michael is saying on Instagram, maybe we should stop littering everywhere we go.
Well, you could make that argument because we're really messy, man. We are really, really, really messy people or messy beings.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a fun tech article. Another one that's not exactly tech, but is interesting to me. You ever get into chaos theory at all?
No.
So, chaos theory is all about when things transition from a linear change to nonlinear change. So, and the classic example of it is the straw that broke the camel's back, which is an interesting thing to me. That's like how describes this really highfalutin scientific theory. But the idea of that is, you put straw on a camel's back, straw, 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 and each one has this linear little thing where it's increasing the weight on the camel, but it's all very predictable. Now it's, up to this many pounds until at some point you hit a point where one more straw takes the camel out.
Hmm.
And that's when you went nonlinear. It's no longer a linear change. Now it's a nonlinear change because it flattens the camel at that point.
Mm.
And one of the big things in chaos theory is coming up with models that predict when that will happen in a system, when it will go nonlinear.
Okay.
And one of the big places that's going on right now, and that's pretty significant, is climate change. Because climate is one of the biggest chaotic systems, well, probably the biggest one in our universe, in our world anyway, or one of, because they used to call it the butterfly effect. A
Yeah.
butterfly flaps its wings in the US and causes a hurricane in Europe and wherever. And that's chaos theory. That's nonlinear change. Just something so subtle in that moment. Just a butterfly flapping its wings can cause enough change to cause that radical of a thing to happen. So these guys are coming up with a new kind of form of AR. I think they called it redundant neural networks or something, some special kind of neural network they're coming up with to predict when things are going to go nonlinear. And they're
Oh.
trying to do climate predictions with it. So that's pretty interesting stuff because that's to be able to make those predictions almost by definition you can't. And that's kind of the whole idea. There's too many variables going on in a chaotic regime that makes it so there's no way you're ever going to really be able to predict which thing's going to happen that's going to cause some big change to happen. And these
Yeah.
guys are coming up with these neural networks that they think can predict it. So that's interesting stuff to me just because, it's taking this kind of obscure theory and doing something incredibly significant with it and taking something that seemed completely impossible before. And because we have computers that are so powerful now and can just run through so many different equations so fast that you actually can do that stuff. And that's pretty wild to me.
Well, that would be a cool or a good problem to solve using computing for
Yeah,
sure.
to truly be able to predict the
Well, I
weather,
guess.
man.
Well, I guess we
Yeah,
won't solve it that way. I guess we'll know.
but at least
You're
we'll
right.
know, you know.
Our deadline. So I
Yeah, yeah.
guess, yeah,
Holy
fixing it
crap.
is up to us.
2027, things get real bad. Sell your stock in late 2026.
Yeah.
Move to a desert
Yeah.
island.
Yeah, well, I mean, things. The weather. It's been changing. The fires, especially here in California,
Oh
wildfires
yeah.
are like every year. It seems like they're getting worse. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary, but it's the time we live in. I'm lucky I'm old. My brother, who's even older than me, we talk about that a lot. This is a good time to be old, We won't have to see this stuff happening. We'll be gone.
Yep.
Although
No,
at
I
the rate
didn't
people
find
are going.
this.
Uh huh.
Yeah. No, I was saying this week I didn't find any. Um, any good articles to talk about?
You didn't?
Oh,
Oh
no.
man, I only have
I know
three. I was
that
relying on you.
I know that earlier in the week there was one that I should have taken notes on, like, oh, this is good. We should actually talk about this one, and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, I've gotten to where
Um,
I keep a Word document, so when I'm working, I can just shove a link in this Word document, and hopefully have something towards when Thursday comes around.
yeah. So there was a kind of going back to the beating a dead horse here. So I know that last week we talked about foldable phones and foldable screens.
Ah, the foldable phones again. Okay, yeah, let's go there.
There was I guess it's just a video that I came across. This YouTuber who does a lot of tech reviews. He was kind of given the state of foldable phones, right? And he kind of agrees with, there's still refinements that need to be made, and usually there are two big, I guess, big form factors when it comes to foldable phones, right? The ones that open up, that have the crease vertical, and then the flip phones that have it horizontal.
Okay,
And then
right.
there are other ones that are just completely gimmicks that you don't find a use for it. He agrees. He thinks that the foldable phone is probably the one that has, I guess, a more of solving a problem factor into it. The other one that flips, that opens up sort of like a book. I don't see how that is solving the problem, but people still like flip phones. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice because it's a smaller real estate in your pocket. If you want to
yeah.
put it in your pocket, I guess.
And then he also said that I think it was 2019 when the first flip phone came out. And he said that it was Samsung who actually produced it. And he said that they're the ones setting the trends. Whenever they come up with one, then they'll start seeing other manufacturers come out with similar models. But um, again, right, it's kind of like what problem really are they solving? Um, except for the flip phone, I think that is a good case. You flip it, fold it back, it's a smaller, put in your pocket. Um, but
Yeah,
even there, right, it's like,
with the vertical fold, where you're doubling basically the screen real estate on your phone, that I can kind of see because it's just it becomes almost like a tablet then.
yeah, and then the back. So once you fold it, there's another screen, so you can use it folded.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
I haven't actually
yeah.
seen one of them. I've just heard about them.
Let me see if I can pull one up. I'll actually pull that video that I'm talking about.
I see stuff going on the screens behind you.
Oh, I think that the computer probably went to sleep.
Ah, I see. I think this is the first time we've had Julian here for a couple of sessions.
Say that again, Lee. Sorry, there was noise coming out. Did you hear that too?
I heard something, yeah.
Yeah, so it's coming from the video.
Oh, okay. I was just saying I don't think Julian's been here for a couple times, so it's nice to see him back.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get Michael next.
Yeah, I want to know what this YouTube ban is about. That's interesting.
I think
Is this an
it's
addiction
related.
thing or an
No, I think it's
intervention?
related. I think it might be related to the Queen. Uh,
Oh, oh, okay. Well, that's serious. There can be. Well, serious to me. I really liked her.
yeah,
She was kind of the definition of a classy person, to my mind. Above all else, she just had class with how she dealt with people. And I guess, I don't know all the political things she might have gotten involved in and all of that stuff, but what I saw of her throughout my life, I always really liked her.
Michael's saying that the Motorola Razr. I remember those razors, but those didn't have a they didn't have a foldable screen back then. I don't think.
Yeah, I think they do now, don't they?
Yeah, the Samsungs do. I think it's called the Flip.
But wasn't Michael saying last week there's a razor too that does the fold? Or maybe I wasn't.
There's a new razor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I
Still
can
looking
share
for
my
the video,
screen.
huh?
I found it. It's
Oh,
loading.
okay. Okay. I'll be patient. Although you know me, I'm not very good at being patient.
So here's let me see if I can. There we go.
Oh, I'm still sharing. Let me stop sharing here. There. This one doesn't do the time tunnel thing when you share what was the other one we were doing? StreamYard?
StreamYard, yeah. So here is one. So this is the one. So this is folded, and
Oh,
this one you can, yeah. So this one you can open it up, and then it has a screen, so you can use it as a regular phone, and then here you can see it that it's opened.
there you go. Now that I can kind of see some reasoning too.
Yeah. So then you can put in
Was
your
that
pocket.
phone? Is it actually two pieces that hook together somehow?
Yeah. So it has a hinge. So for example, right there on the left hand side of the phone, there is a hinge there.
Okay.
So this is sort of like the outside of the phone when it's folded, and there's a screen sandwiched in the middle,
Oh, I get it. Wow. I kind of like that.
and there is a camera. There's also a camera. I don't know if you can see my pointer, but there's a camera there.
Yeah, yeah.
And let's see if this plays.
And when they had it opened up like that, that's like a decent sized little tablet
Yeah,
for being able to just shove it in your pocket.
yeah, and then that's how the back looks when it's folded.
Well, but now what's the deal? Because he was holding two pieces there. Do they hook together or what's the deal with them?
They're hinged together.
But look at it when
No,
they're go
no.
back
So
to the
that's two different phones, Lee.
Oh, is that the deal? Okay.
Yeah. So it's two.
Okay,
It's
so here you go. Okay, I see now. I see.
yeah.
Three
So
millimeters wider than a normal phone.
yeah. So I guess the only thing is that you'll start seeing the crease get more noticeable over time. You can see it there,
Oh yeah, yeah. Look at that. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's bound to be more and more as it goes, I would think.
but I think that they're going to get better, right, with the materials over time. Um, and I think that's sort of like the argument that Apple is making, that well, it's too early to do something like that
Right, right.
for them.
Yeah, you just like Apple. That's all.
I my brother-in-law had this phone when it just came out. Um, this is the third version, that one you're looking at right here, but he
Okay.
got the second version, or version two, and I I I didn't like it. It's like, what's the you have a thicker phone in your pocket. Um, you can't really put a decent case on it because you have a screen on the outside of it.
Yeah, that's one I thought about. The otter isn't going to work well with it.
Yeah. So I think it's cool to talk about it, and obviously he's making some points that the tech is still not there yet, and you can see all the different models that have a foldable screen there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but Samsung seems like they're taking the lead on this when it comes to foldables.
Well, the real answer here, I think, is like you see in some science fiction shows now. There was one called The Expanse on Prime, where your phone is a little tiny thing on your wrist or somewhere that pops the screen up and is displayed in the air,
Yeah,
and there is no real screen. That's in France and Paris, they had street signs that were like that just for like holograms that hovered in the air above a post
really.
and have advertising signs. I've never seen anything. I don't know how they did it. It was really interesting, but it was like magic, man. It was like, wow, that's science fiction there.
That is pretty cool.
We're always
There's another piece, another article that I found, but I don't really understand it. I don't know enough about crypto to get into it, but I guess it's a big deal that Ethereum is merging. Have you heard anything about that?
no, no. I've heard of
Yeah,
Ethereum. Are they a big blockchain company or?
they're a cryptocurrency, second to Bitcoin.
Oh, okay, that's where I've heard of it. Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
so
it merging with?
I guess there's two versions of Ethereum. I think there's Ethereum Classic, and then I guess that what it's now the regular Ethereum. Like I said, I don't know enough about that. I wish we had an expert in the chat that could tell us what's going on.
Yeah, that whole cryptocurrency thing is a weird area to me.
Yeah,
I understand the concept of making an unbreakable hash or whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. How is it money? Although, our money is strips of paper, so how is that money? So, how is anything money? It's been a
yeah,
long time
and
since it was
and
about having gold.
and for me lately, since I don't really use cash, it's just a number in my bank account. Really, it's not really not even paper.
Yeah, yeah, more and more. Hey, people talk about printing money. The government's printing money again. Well, no, hardly at all. They don't really print much money anymore. I mean, they do, but much more. It's about somebody goes and types numbers into a computer, and that becomes money somehow.
Yeah,
What's up with that?
yeah. Yeah, and so Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're not too far from that. So
Well, yeah, yeah, and that is, yeah, yeah. It's a strange thing to me. I just don't. There's a lot of things about it that I don't fathom very well. Like,
yeah,
okay, we're convincing people that that's worth 20 grand to have some electrons flying around on a hard disk somewhere. I guess they're not flying around if they're on the hard disk, but still.
yeah, sort of like NFTs. Although
Yeah.
they've been falling in value, a lot of even the biggest creators of NFTs. Um, but I think it's cool the way they set that up, the NFTs. Um, it's better than the stock market if you think about it, because every time they sell it, you get a percentage of it if you create an NFT.
Is that right?
Yeah. So let's say that you come up with, I don't know, ORD NFTs, and they're like just, pictures of a cute little robot, and then there's different variations of it, and people want to pay money for them for whatever reason, because they love the live stream, the weekly show so
Right.
much.
If only.
Yeah, and they're gonna spend a lot of money buying these NFTs. Well, obviously you will get the initial full amount when you do sell it the first time, but if somebody resells it, you'll get a percentage of that transaction, and every time after that.
Really?
Yeah, so
Why?
I think that's the way they set them up, and it
Wow.
makes a lot of sense for the creators,
Yeah, it works
right?
for me. Oh, another 100,000. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Let's make
I,
more NFTs.
I mean, there was that thing a few months ago. Don't I remember one that sold for like $60 million or something crazy
Yeah,
like that?
yeah,
I saw that. And I go, what? So that
yeah,
it's worth that much because they can say for certain that it's original.
yeah.
Okay.
They
Still
have
better be pretty freaking nice for $60
they,
million.
they they pretty much have the certificate in the blockchain that they are the ones who own it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But there still
Michael
has
says
to be
that
something there.
he sells NFTs in the metaverse. He says. Oh, and then the other one is real estate. I wonder if virtual real estate, they set it up the same way, that the original creator gets a cut every time it gets
Oh,
resold.
I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
Second Life used to have virtual real estate that you could buy and sell. But I heard it's a
that
big
would
thing
be.
again. I don't know where you get into. What do you do with virtual real estate when you have it? Build a house and go live in your virtual house?
I guess, or lease it, or I don't know what you can do.
Yeah. You want to rent my virtual house? It's really nice. We'll let you wear
put it on,
goggles.
put it up on virtual Airbnb and rent it for the weekend.
That's right. Somehow it's not the same as going to Monterey for me for the weekend.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, I got to get back to doing demos on this thing, I guess. That's
yeah. And then I think what I need to do is probably or find more news.
yeah, yeah. You were
There,
lacking for
there,
me.
there were a few articles that I found, but it's like, no, that's not even that's not even worth mentioning. Um, I mean, a lot of it is just Apple everywhere.
Yeah,
The new iOS came out, and the new
yeah, yeah,
macOS
yeah.
Ventura. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna. Let's talk more about the flip phones instead.
Yeah, Michael's going to give you grief if you start talking Apple, and I will too,
Yeah,
but I'll resist it more
he
than
he already he's already given me grief. He said that Apple copied Android. They just won't admit it.
well, now, didn't iPhone come out a few years before Androids? I don't
No,
remember
I
that
think
exactly.
Androids came out before.
Before iPhones?
Yeah, but the App Store, I think Apple came up with it before Android did. I think.
Okay. Now, okay. It's Google. Time to Google that. Let's see. It's Android.
Last I heard, I know that
Or
Microsoft had a stake on Android.
Founding of Android. Android history begins in October 2003. Oh, that's definitely later than the iPhone, I think, or before the iPhone.
Yeah.
Android docs reveal before iPhone. Google's plan was Java. Yeah, okay. All right. I stand corrected. Oh, man, they were ugly back then, too. Jeez.
The Androids.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't near as good looking as the iPhone.
Yeah. No, I think in those times it was BlackBerry and Windows Mobile was trying to
Yeah,
get
that
in
never
there,
went
but
anywhere. It was
never happened.
garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember before it was the handheld devices first started coming, you had the BlackBerry and the Palm Pilot and all of
Hmm.
those. And I remember at the time, being the prophetic guy that I am, I remember telling people, when this is going to be significant is when it's also a telephone. because there was really nothing to do with the Palm Pilot. How badly do you need Outlook along with you to keep track of your schedule and stuff like that? But as soon as you could hook it to a telephone, then that became a big deal.
Yeah. Michael is saying that the Google Play Store was out before the Apple App Store.
Really? Wow, shows what I know.
That shows what I know too.
I wasn't paying enough attention back then.
The only thing that I know is that more money is spent on the Apple App Store than on Android. Android users are cheap. They don't want to pay for things. They want it free.
Better cheap than stupid. Oh, I didn't say that.
That is true. Oh, a new app and it has in-app purchases. Okay.
Push the button.
Well, it's good for consumers, but bad for developers.
Yeah, yeah.
WebOS powers TVs. Yeah, WebOS was HP's originally. I remember that was their way of trying to get into the market, and it flopped.
Yeah. I didn't know HP did one. Ah.
Yeah, so Michael is saying that Palm is now WebOS, but I know that it was HP's for a while. WebOS was
Okay.
HP's for a while,
Well,
about 10,
Palm
12
got
years ago.
big for a while and then just turned to
It
nothing.
was, yeah, it was pretty much the only thing. Well, again, right? Windows. We had Windows Mobile. Before that, it was Pocket PC. Remember
And you
that?
had, yeah, oh yeah, it was garbage. It was terrible. But you had the BlackBerry was around then, I think,
Yeah,
wasn't it? I think that was around when the BlackBerry was starting.
yeah.
And
Michael, I'm pretty sure WebOS was owned by HP at some point. Look it up. I bet you money on this one. I'll bet you money. But
Google it.
WebOS was owned by HP for a while, and it flopped. They couldn't do anything with it, and they sold it, and now they put it on TVs.
Palm was actually owned Candlestick Park for a while
Oh yeah.
before it went down. Yeah, it was considered Palm. I think it had something. It had the name Palm in it somehow. When for a while they were naming Candlestick Park other stuff other than Candlestick Park, which was ridiculous to old farts like me. But
Yeah, that I didn't know.
yeah, yeah. Hey, I think it was Palm. There was another 3Com was the big one. I think 3Com actually owned Palm and started Palm, if I remember right. And 3Com was a really early land company. It was out there about the same time as Novell. You remember Novell?
Hmm.
I think Novell's still around. I'm not sure. I
Yeah, I
can't
think they
imagine
are.
who uses it. Yeah,
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember dealing with drivers with on Windows 90,
yeah.
whatever, just back in the days.
Oh God, Windows 3.1, getting a Novell network working on Windows 3.1, early challenge of mine when I was more in the IT side of things.
Yeah,
Back in the olden days.
yeah. Michael is saying that Windows Mobile went nowhere. Yeah, that is true.
It was garbage.
Yeah, Satya Nadella, he mentions that in his book that they bought Nokia because they wanted to keep competing, trying to get into mobile. And in that book, he says that it was a mistake. That
Yeah.
finally they try to do Windows. What was it? Windows 8 and 8.1. That they try to sort of merge the OS and trying to make it mobile. And I guess that's where the Surfaces came out, right? The Microsoft Surface, the tablets, and it was a big flop trying to make people use Windows as their mobile OS. It didn't happen.
But give the devil its due. I find the Surface tablet to be a pretty good machine.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
I mean, it's basically just a Windows computer, but it's a all the bells and whistles Windows computer in a tablet. And that one I got on Antwerp, the robot. that's a pretty serious tablet on there. I paid a
Yeah.
couple $1,000 for the thing, but
No, it's. I mean, you could use it as a computer, as your computer. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
those things come. Yeah, definitely.
it's it's got an i7 in it. I think it's a 6 core i7 in the thing.
I think
And
the only limitation is the way you input data, right? I think
yep.
the keyboard is the bottleneck, right? It
Yeah, not
doesn't
that
get
good.
for,
Not that good. It can get
but
okay
it's the best
keyboard.
we got, right? When you're inputting data, I mean, they've tried to do things with voice and all kinds of other stuff. It just doesn't work as well as a keyboard.
Yeah, so many people have tried so many things. The whole voice thing, no, that doesn't, not going to work. Not reliable. Even if it was reliable enough, it's clumsy to do. It's
Yeah,
just more matter of fact to be able to sit down and type it in and have complete control over what you're doing that way.
yeah. Windows 10 Mobile was a flop. Yeah, I think that was probably the last thing what's his name, the previous Microsoft CEO left before
Oh, are you
Palmer,
thinking
Steve.
Ballmer? Yeah, Ballmer.
Yeah,
Steve the Ballmer.
yeah. Michael saying install Linux on your Surface Pro.
Well, you can run Ubuntu on it. I've run Ubuntu on it. That was when I was taking my little foray into ROS that I quickly got out of. Because you can do it, but it does. Yeah, ROS on Windows, not that good. It's
Yeah,
not ROS's fault. It's Windows' fault.
yeah, yeah. He's Michael saying that you can connect a full size keyboard to the Surface. Yep, yep. That's the way. I think that's the way you have it set up, or is it the one that came with it, Lee? The one you use?
I just have an off market one, but you can get any keyboard, really nice keyboards with them.
Bluetooth.
Like
Yeah,
at
as long
work,
as it's Bluetooth.
yeah, our friend George at work had the. He only used a Surface after the
The,
length of
he had
last.
the Surface Book, right? The one that's
Um,
a tab, like an actual laptop, and you can detach the.
I think it was just the Surface. It was the high end Surface like I've got,
Yeah, I
but
think it's
with
called
the
the
good
Surface
keyboard.
Book.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it had the good keyboard, but it was
Yeah,
a detachable, and when you took it off, it was just the high
it's a
end
big
Surface
tablet.
was all it was.
Yeah,
Yeah. But he plugged it into as many monitors as he wanted, and into different keyboards. He could do whatever he wanted with it. But he did all that traveling that he did. It was great for that, because
yeah.
they're really light and thin, and they're nice for that.
I don't think they're coming up with new models of that. I'm wondering if they're discontinuing that.
I don't know.
I was,
They've just come out with a new Surface, a new improvement of the Surface, or at least a higher end
yeah.
one.
So they have I know they have the Surface, the tablets, and then they have the Surface laptops. But the Surface Book, I don't think they're renewing it, or at least I haven't
Oh,
seen a
okay.
new version of it. Um,
Entirely possible. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it. Well, did we get any questions?
no questions. It's usually we get a few, not this time. It's mostly Michael busy on the chat.
Yeah, and I don't get to see it tonight. That's not fair.
Yeah,
Well, I think dinner time must be coming on here.
yeah. It's about time, Lee. It's about
Yeah,
that time.
yeah,
Wow, we've been at it for almost an hour. We usually
yeah,
do like 45 minutes, and we didn't have anything to talk about, supposedly.
yeah. But we rattled on pretty good. Couple of old computer nerds rattling on. Leave it to us.
Yeah. Well, all right, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. And thank you, Michael, for joining us on Instagram. Hopefully, we'll have you on YouTube next week. Julian, if you're still there, thanks for joining. And thanks to everybody else who joined the live stream.
I second all that. Good night, everyone.